Good morning, Win. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Tom. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for joining me today on our interview, and I appreciate your time. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and your business and what are the things that you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Win Smith, and I'm an attorney here in Milford, Connecticut at a law firm called Dye Smith Steele, LLC. We're a law firm of 7 attorneys, 13 staff, and we've been here for the past 35 years. And I've been in Milford my whole life. I was born and raised here. So we're a pretty long-standing fixture down on the downtown green. We're right in the second floor of the Milford Bank building on the Milford Green. And, we have a lot of ties in the community. I'm part of the Milford Rotary Club. And last fall, I was elected to the Board of Aldermen. And so I deal a lot with the city of Milford, and I like to do a lot for my city. And so, I love everything about Milford, and along with being an attorney, I love being involved in the community too.
So I know we're kind of, it seems like March was a long, long time ago when this whole thing started. So how have you been dealing with the changes, the pandemic, and your team? How are you guys dealing with all that?
Yeah, absolutely. So when the pandemic started back in March, as many people probably know, there was a whole laundry list full of essential businesses that Governor Lamont had came down and said, okay, here are all the list of essential businesses. And when I looked at that list, I said, well, what business is not essential? Because it was such a long list. He almost could have came out with a list and said, here are the non-essential businesses. So attorneys, lawyers, paralegals, they were considered essential. So our office, my office, actually never closed. So my office remained open throughout the pandemic. However, I have a daughter at home she was born premature, so she has compromised lungs a little bit. So I actually was working from home since, I just went back into the office about a week and a half ago, but I was working from home since the first week of March. So, things were very different for me, and I really did have to pivot how I marketed myself and my firm, and kept bringing new clients in. So some things that I tried to do is I tried to do a lot more digital and online marketing. A big part of my business was being in the community, being out there, going to the events, all the different civic organizations that I'm part of. I'm always out in the community, in front of people, meeting new people, out at our local restaurants, because we have wonderful downtown restaurants right on the water. And so I did a lot of that. And that was obviously no longer possible when the pandemic started in March. So I really had to double down and go online and like I said, do the digital marketing. Luckily, my wife, who is very talented in that. She has background in it from New York City, and she's a photographer and videographer here in Milford, and she's able to really help me with that. So my wife and I kind of partnered up as like a in-home team to market my business. And so she's been wonderful through this whole thing because she's great with digital marketing and all that. So I had an excellent resource in that, because I really did have to pivot 180, and really, because I'd never really done digital marketing or online marketing before. And so it was a different change for me, but a nice change, because I've been able to have some success on it. And, bring in some new clients from that space. And now that the Connecticut phased reopening is through the second stage right now and moving along, business is getting back to normal. And, I do a lot of real estate, estate planning and probate work. That's a very large part of my practice, real estate, probate, and estate planning. And real estate really has never slowed down.
Yeah.
But marketing online for real estate has been great as well, because I've been able to provide a lot of resources to realtors and potential clients, informing them on different things and how they can approach real estate closings during the pandemic, what to expect when trying to close a purchase or a sale. And the same thing with estate planning in a different vein.
Right.
I've really been able to stress to people, obviously, the importance of having a will in your estate planning package, or providing assistance for a probate matter, since this pandemic is very dangerous to people's health and otherwise, and people are passing away from it, and that's a really terrible thing. And so we all need to do the things to protect ourselves and our families. If some sort of disastrous medical incident happened to us, we need to make sure to prevent against that. So I've been able to provide a lot of resources and answers for people who have questions about these things. And though I may not do any business with a lot of the people that I'm providing this information to, I'm more than happy to do that. Because business has been going well, and I've been able to float it through the pandemic as well. So I'm more than happy to answer questions and provide resources for people and give them all everything that they may need, even though we may not be doing business directly with each other.
Right.
And that's what I've done before, and now more than ever, I think that's vitally important too. So I love doing that, and I like helping people to that effect.
Yeah, I mean, any changes? I mean, I'm sure there are with, I know the courts being closed, and I guess now they're opening. How have you and your clients? And I'm sure that's probably a question out for people. Can I even get anything done now?
Yeah, so it's been particularly difficult for my landlords, and I'm representing a number of landlords with their evictions and other lease issues that they have going on. Right now, it's very difficult because since the pandemic began, Governor Lamont brought down a moratorium. So basically, prevent against any sort of evictions or foreclosures until the state and until the governor says that those can reopen, until the housing courts can reopen and the superior courts can reopen to facilitate any evictions or foreclosures or anything of that nature. So the ones that I have that were pending in the housing court and the superior court when the pandemic began were all put on hold. And now in the superior court, the superior courts are now reopening. There are some, in-person meetings aren't happening. In-person hearings aren't happening. But what they're doing is they're doing obviously video conferencing through Microsoft Teams.
Okay.
And then the probate courts are doing the video conferencing through WebEx. So they're getting these hearings done through different types of video conferencing software, and so superior court cases can proceed, and there are some criminal cases that also can proceed, but housing court and housing cases cannot proceed because that court is still closed, and they were supposed to reopen on July 1st, but the governor just updated his executive order, which indicated that those will be postponed until, I believe, August.
Oh, okay.
So June, it was supposed to reopen in June, and then they got pushed back to July and then August. So I'm not really sure, which is a frustrating thing to tell a client too.
Yeah.
I'm not sure when we can, get your case done. And so dealing with that and having to work through those issues has been another difficulty, because some of the landlords that I represent aren't getting paid by certain tenants, whether it's commercial or residential.
Sure.
If they have a commercial or residential issue. And so, to tell a landlord, well, we can't get your case done, and I'm not sure when we'll be able to, has been a very difficult thing to do and work through. So I've been able to, or at least I've made sure that I am aware of and up on and know exactly what the governor's office is saying, what their executive orders are saying, so that I can keep myself informed So at the moment when I can finish these things that have been postponed or put on hold, I can really move forward with completing them and getting them done for my clients.
Good.
But everything that can be done, we are doing,
Right.
whether it be virtually or otherwise. But there are some courts that are still closed. So it's been a challenge all around.
Yeah, but it's I think everybody's had to make little pivots. Now you and I have been talking. I know you're part of the Tourism Reopen in Milford. How's that going? And I know you're saying that's a challenge. What are you seeing as far as that type of events and everything coming back?
Yeah. So as I briefly mentioned, I am on the Board of Aldermen in Milford, and I was asked to be on the tourism task force to help re-engage the local economy of Milford and re-engage our businesses, because businesses have struggled: restaurants, bars, retail, everything. And there are some restaurants and bars who have been hit harder than others. And so the idea behind the tourism task force would be to host certain events, or some of our artists or business owners who have been hit hard by this, provide them with an opportunity to market themselves, get their businesses restarted and things of that nature. So it's been a challenge to schedule events because, as everyone knows, our health department, the state health department, national health officials are suggesting against gathering in certain groups. And so planning events while the pandemic's still going on has been a great challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And all everyone wants to do, and all I want to do, is to get things back to normal, to get our economies back to where they were, to get our businesses thriving the way they were. Because Milford was really really in an economic renaissance in our town, and businesses were expanding, and more businesses were coming in, and people were growing at a exponential rate. And so, obviously that's been put on hold a little bit during the pandemic, but the idea behind the tourism task force is to really get that started again and get that going, and making sure that everyone gets back to the level that they were performing at before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And bring in new businesses as well, because that's great not only for the state economy, but our local economy and all our business owners downtown and throughout the rest of the city.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to continue to work hard on that and make sure I can do everything I can for the Milford business, and the Milford economy.
Sure, you see a lot of challenges. I mean, different businesses are at different stages. There's some are in still shut down or lockdown. I guess some are in training, some are in warming up, what I say, and others are sprinting. I mean, what advice, you're part of the tourism, you have business clients and real estate. What advice, one or two things that you would, recommend to tell other business owners out there?
Yeah. So I would say, like for me, take for example, that a lot of what I've been trying to do for marketing purposes, focusing on real estate closings, or focusing on estate planning and probate, to market myself has been, as I mentioned, a challenge. It's been hard work. You have to keep at it, and because you don't have successes a lot that you otherwise would when you're sitting face to face with somebody over a business lunch or at a meeting. People can't see you and hear your voice and do all this, so you need to try and do it online, electronically, digitally. And so you don't have as much, or at least I found, you don't have as much success as you otherwise would when you're face to face with somebody or meeting different people. And so one thing I would say is to be diligent, keep at it, because it's not going to work the first time or the second time, or maybe even the third or fourth time. Yeah. But if you keep at it and keep your name out there, and then people can see how hard you are in fact working, and really how much you want to see yourself and others succeed, that goes a long way. Yeah. And so but you have to keep at it. You can't just give up on it. And it's very different. And especially for me, I did not have a lot of presence digitally. And now it's, I've seen success on it. And so now something that I did or something I had to do that I didn't otherwise have to do, I'm seeing some success on. And so when everything gets back to normal, and it will at some point,
yeah,
I'm going to continue doing a little bit what I started doing during the pandemic that I probably otherwise would not have done.
right.
So I'm adding something to my marketing cachet, if you will,
Mhm.
that I'm going to take with me that I learned during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So as difficult as this time has been, it can provide certain opportunities that you can take with you once we leave this behind.
Right. Oh.
So if you explore different avenues,
Yeah.
they can really benefit you, and you can take them with you after this is over.
And be consistent and keep doing them over and over again.
Right.
It's a numbers game. Yeah. No. Hey, Win, thank you. That's great advice. I appreciate your time and your insight on that, and good luck with the challenges with the tourism. And if anybody needs to contact you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah. So you can call my office. You can call my cell phone number. You can call my email. I can provide that. Do you want me to provide it right in the
Sure.
video here?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said, if you have any questions regarding the city, because I'm involved with the city through the Board of Aldermen, you can call my office. We're here 5 days a week and sometimes on the weekend as well. And that's 203-882-3351. And you can also email me at my email, which is win, WINLLL, @diesmith.com. And you can find our website as well, diesmithsteelllc.com.
Great.
And so any of those avenues, you can get a hold of me, get in contact with me.
Great.
And so if you want to bounce any ideas off me or have any questions regarding the city or have any questions about remarketing your company as you haven't done before, that you can do to really help yourself, I'd be happy to work with you and answer any questions that you have.
Absolutely awesome, Win. Thanks so much for your time, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate it very much.